Title: The Snail That Conquered Earth. Channel: WildlifeLensTV, WLTV. Documentary. Opening sequence. In the darkness of a tropical night, something ancient begins to move. Slowly, silently, almost invisibly. It leaves no roar behind it. No footprints in the dust. No warning cry in the trees. And yet, this quiet traveler is one of the most successful invaders the natural world has ever known. Across continents. Across oceans. Across entire ecosystems. A single species of snail has reshaped landscapes, threatened agriculture, and forced governments into emergency response campaigns. This is not a story about speed. It is a story about survival. This is the story of the giant African land snail. The snail that conquered Earth. Chapter 1: A Giant Among Snails. At first glance, it seems harmless. A slow-moving creature gliding across damp leaves after rainfall. But look closer. This is no ordinary snail. The giant African land snail can grow longer than a human hand. Its shell spirals upward like an ancient tower of calcium armor. Its body stretches with surprising strength and flexibility. And unlike most snails people encounter in gardens or forests, this species was built not just to survive, but to spread. Originally native to East Africa, it evolved in warm, humid ecosystems where competition was fierce and resources unpredictable. To survive there meant becoming adaptable, resilient, patient, and incredibly efficient at reproduction. Traits that would later make it one of the most successful invasive animals on Earth. Chapter 2: Built for Survival. Nature rarely creates perfect invaders by accident. The giant African land snail carries a set of biological advantages that make it uniquely difficult to stop. Its shell protects it from predators and harsh environmental changes. Its muscular foot allows it to travel across rough terrain, tree bark, stone, and soil with ease. Its diet includes hundreds of plant species, leaves, fruit, vegetables, tree bark, even calcium-rich materials like plaster and limestone. Almost nothing is off the menu. And when conditions become dangerous, the snail simply disappears. It seals itself inside its shell and waits. Sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months, until the world becomes safe again. Patience, in nature, can be a powerful weapon. Chapter 3: The Reproduction Explosion. But the greatest advantage of the giant African land snail is not its size. It is its ability to multiply. Unlike many animals that depend on finding a mate, these snails are hermaphrodites. Each individual carries both reproductive roles, which means nearly every encounter between two snails can produce offspring. And those offspring arrive in astonishing numbers. A single snail can lay hundreds of eggs at once. Over the course of a year, one individual may produce more than 1,000 eggs. Hidden beneath soil, protected under leaves, buried beside roots. Entire populations can appear almost overnight. And once they do, removing them becomes extraordinarily difficult. Because where there is one snail today, there may be thousands tomorrow. Chapter 4, A Journey Beyond Africa. For thousands of years, this species remained confined to its native homeland. But human movement changed everything. As trade routes expanded across oceans, so did opportunity. Snails traveled unnoticed in cargo shipments, hidden among vegetables, inside soil used for plants, clinging to wooden crates and containers. Some were transported intentionally. Others arrived entirely by accident. Yet wherever they landed, they survived. From Southeast Asia to the Pacific Islands, from the Caribbean to South America, from remote farms to crowded cities, the giant African land snail continued its quiet expansion across the world. A slow invasion, but an unstoppable one. Wildlife invasions like this are reshaping ecosystems across our planet. Subscribe to WLTV to explore the hidden forces changing the natural world. Chapter 5, Arrival in America. When the giant African land snail finally appeared in the United States, few people understood what it meant. At first, it seemed like a curiosity. An unusual animal spotted in gardens and neighborhoods. But scientists recognized the warning signs immediately. Florida's warm climate created ideal conditions. Abundant vegetation offered unlimited food. And without natural predators to control their numbers, populations began to rise rapidly. Soon, thousands of snails were discovered across residential areas. Officials launched emergency eradication programs. Quarantine zones were established. Entire neighborhoods were monitored. Because once invasive species become established, removing them becomes one of the most difficult challenges conservation teams face. Chapter 6, A Farmer's Nightmare. To farmers, the arrival of these snails represented something far more serious. Crop destruction, economic loss, and uncertainty about the future. Giant African land snails feed on vegetables, fruit trees, ornamental plants, and seedlings. They strip bark from young trees. They damage irrigation systems. They consume entire gardens overnight. In heavily affected regions, farms can lose significant portions of their harvest within weeks. And because these snails reproduce so quickly, their populations recover faster than most control efforts can respond. What begins as a small infestation can become a regional agricultural crisis. Chapter 7, A Hidden Health Concern. Beyond agriculture, another concern follows this species wherever it spreads. Public health risk. Like many wild animals, giant African land snails can carry parasites. Under certain conditions, these organisms may affect humans who handle the snails without protection. For this reason, wildlife officials encourage people never to touch unknown land snails with bare hands. Education becomes essential, because awareness is one of the strongest tools communities have against invasive species. Understanding the risks helps prevent the spread and helps protect both ecosystems and people. Chapter 8: Why Nature Can't Stop Them. In their native environment, these snails are part of a balanced system. Birds hunt them. Rodents feed on them. Insects attack their eggs. Predators keep populations under control. But outside Africa, those natural limits often disappear. Local predators may ignore them or fail to recognize them as prey. Without ecological resistance, their numbers grow rapidly. And once that happens, the balance of entire habitats begins to change. Native species struggle. Vegetation disappears. And ecosystems shift in ways scientists are still trying to understand. Chapter 9: The Global Response. Across the world, governments and researchers continue working to contain the spread of the giant African land snail. Detection programs monitor new regions. Field teams remove colonies. Public awareness campaigns teach communities how to respond safely. It is a slow effort, a careful effort, but an essential one. Because the story of this snail reminds us of something important. Even the smallest creatures can shape the future of entire ecosystems. Even the quietest movements can change the course of nature. And sometimes, the greatest invasions happen not with noise, but with silence. The giant African land snail is still moving, still spreading, still adapting. Its journey is not over yet. And the outcome of this global encounter between humans and one remarkable species is still being written. Watch next. Lion vs. Tiger, who rules the wild? Explore the battles that define Earth's most powerful predators.